Hello friends, welcome to our RV YouTube channel. In this session electric drives and control of session 10, we are going to discuss about single phase fully controlled rectifier fed separately excited DC motor drive for discontinuous conduction. In our previous sessions, session 9 part 1 and session 9 part 2, we discussed about the same case with the continuous conduction mode. In this session, we are going to discuss about discontinuous conduction. Please subscribe to our RV YouTube channel. If you feel like any doubts, you can comment me in the comment section and I will clear your doubts through the comment section. Now let us enter into today's session 10 about the discontinuous conduction mode of operation of single phase fully controlled rectifier fed separately excited DC motor drive. So this is our circuit diagram which is shown here, which consists of 4 thyristors T1, T2, T3 and T4 along with this single phase AC supply here VS. Okay, this VS is single phase AC supply forms the this single phase AC supply VS with the 4 thyristors forms the single phase fully controlled rectifier, and the power from this single phase fully controlled rectifier is fed to the DC motor. Here A and AA represents the armature terminals of the DC motor, E represents the back EMF of the DC motor, LA represents the armature inductance, and RA represents the armature resistance, and IA represents the armature current. Here VA represents the armature voltage across the armature terminals of the DC motor. Now let us discuss about the operation of this single phase fully controlled rectifier when it is fed to a separately excited DC motor drive under discontinuous conduction mode. So now let us draw the single phase AC supply sinusoidal input voltage which is fed to the rectifier. So this is our single phase AC supply which is of Vs, and let us draw the negative of this single phase AC supply voltage also. So this is our negative of AC voltage. And now let us have a firing angle alpha at which the thyristors starts conducting. So this is our firing angle alpha, and this is our point or our angle 180 degrees, and let me consider this as an angle beta extinction angle, and this as our angle pi plus alpha, and this is our 2 pi, and here it is pi plus beta, and here again it is 2 pi plus alpha. Okay, so now let us first know what is discontinuous mode of operation. See, in this discontinuous mode of operation, at an angle called extinction angle beta, the current becomes 0. That is known as discontinuous conduction mode of operation. In our previous continuous conduction mode of operation, the current which is flowing through the motor is always continuous. Whereas in this case, the current through the thyristors T1 and T4 flows from the angle alpha to beta, and at the angle beta, the current becomes 0. And again the current starts flowing through the thyristors T2 and T3 from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta. So at an angle of pi plus beta, the current becomes 0. The armature current becomes 0. So this is known as discontinuous conduction mode of operation. Anyhow, I will explain in detail so that you can understand what is discontinuous conduction mode of operation. So first let us try to plot the points where the thyristors comes into the conduction. So at an angle of alpha, the thyristors T1 and T4 comes into the conduction, and at an angle of pi plus alpha, the thyristors T2 and T3 comes into the conduction, and at an angle of 2 pi plus alpha, okay, at an angle of 2 pi plus alpha, the thyristors, I mean the old thyristors T1 and T4 comes to the conduction. From here the new cycle again starts and it continues so on. So what happens is, now let me clarify you what is the difference between the continuous conduction and the discontinuous conduction. In our previous session we discussed about the continuous conduction, in which the current flown from the the angle alpha, from here alpha to pi plus alpha, okay, in the thyristors T1 and T4. So at an angle of pi plus alpha, the current starting flowing from pi plus alpha to 2 pi plus alpha in the thyristors T2 and T3. Therefore, there is no discontinuity, or there is no the current coming to zero at any angle from one operation to another operation, or from one mode to another mode. Whereas in this case, what is happening is the current is becoming zero at an angle of beta, which is flowing through the T1, T4. Whereas if you saw this, whereas if you see this T2 and T3, this starts conducting at pi plus alpha. Therefore, what is happening is from beta to pi plus alpha, at this instant the current is becoming zero. Again, here the current starts flowing from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta with the thyristors T2 and T3. Therefore, what is and the next pair of thyristors T1 and T4 starts conducting at 2 pi plus alpha. Therefore, if you observe at this, from pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha, the current is 0. Therefore, there is a discontinuity in the current. So while I am drawing the current waveform, you can understand still better what is discontinuous mode of operation. So now let us discuss about the operation of this circuit. So during positive half cycle, that is from alpha to beta, what happens? See, the current starts flowing from phase terminal to the thyristor T1 and enters through the armature terminal A and leads through the armature terminal AA and enters into the thyristor T4 and ends its journey at the neutral terminal. Okay, the armature current starts flowing through the phase terminal and enters into T1 and enters through the armature terminal and leads through the AA and enters into the T4 and completes its journey with the neutral terminal. So here the value of this sinusoidal input voltage which we considered is Vs, and the output voltage across this armature terminals is Va. So if we apply KVL to this loop, we will get Va is equal to Vs. Therefore, the output voltage during positive half cycle from alpha to beta, okay, during positive half cycle from alpha to beta, the armature voltage is equal to the supply voltage. That means whatever the supply voltage is given, that will be the output voltage across the armature terminals. So now let us try to draw that. So this is our point alpha and this is our point beta. So what they are saying is, from alpha to beta during positive half cycle, the armature voltage is equal to the sinusoidal input voltage. Therefore, this is our alpha and this is our beta. So from alpha to beta, whatever the input voltage is given, that will be the output voltage across the armature terminals. So this will be our output voltage. Now let us draw this or trace this output voltage separately in VA graph so that we will understand easily. So the same trace is being drawn here. Okay, so it conducts from alpha to beta. So now let us try to draw the current waveform of this also. So this is point alpha and this is the angle pi and this is the angle beta. So the current is flowing through the thyristors T1 and T4 from alpha to beta. Okay, here the thyristors T1 and T4 conduct. See here, thyristors T1 and T4. So the current is flowing through the thyristors T1 and T4 from alpha to beta, and at an angle of beta the current is becoming 0. Okay, and at an angle of pi plus alpha, the next pair of thyristors T2 and T3 starts conducting. So what happens this from beta to pi plus alpha? See, from beta to pi plus alpha. From beta to pi plus alpha, the current flow is 0 across all the thyristors. Okay, that means phase, the current flow through the thyristor T1 is also 0, and the current flow through the thyristor T2 is also 0, and the current flow through the thyristor T3 is also 0, and the current flow through the thyristor T4 is also 0. This is T1, this is T2, and this is T3, and this is T4. Okay, and this is our neutral terminal. So if you observe at this, the current flow through the T1 is 0, T2 is 0, T3 is 0, and T4 is 0. That means it is everything is of open circuit. And here it is armature terminals. The voltage across armature terminals is VA. Okay. And here we have an induced EMF in the DC motor. So if you observe at this circuit, what is happening is everything is of open circuit. Therefore, the armature voltage across the armature present, which is only the back EMF. Therefore, here our armature voltage is the back EMF. Therefore, from beta to pi plus alpha, the current flow is 0 and the armature voltage is induced EMF E. So now let us draw the induced EMF E in the input voltage also, which is of E. So the voltage is this much, sorry, the magnitude of the induced EMF is this much. Okay, so now let us try to draw this one. Therefore, from beta to pi plus alpha, okay, from beta to pi plus alpha, the armature voltage is equal to 0. So let us draw that. See here, this is beta and this is our pi plus alpha. Okay, from beta to pi plus alpha, the value of the armature voltage is E. Therefore, it will be something like this much. Okay, so now let us try to draw that in the armature voltage. So this is our E. The value of E is this much, which we have considered here. So from beta to pi plus alpha, the armature voltage is equal to E. So which we have drawn here. Whereas from beta to pi plus alpha, the current flow is 0. If we observe here, the current flow is 0. Now you may have a doubt why the current is becoming 0 at an angle of beta and up to pi plus alpha. See, if the load is low, okay, if the value of the load is low, the value of torque becomes low. Okay, when the value of the torque becomes 0, we know that torque is proportional to armature current. When the torque becomes low, according to this equation, armature current also becomes low. Therefore, armature current becomes 0. Okay, so here we have assumed that at this point beta, the current is becoming 0. Okay, see, it is not necessarily that this current should become 0 at this angle only. It can become 0 here also or here also. Somewhere from pi to pi plus alpha. Okay, somewhere from pi to pi plus alpha. This depends on the value of the torque and the armature current. Okay, depending on the value of the torque and the armature current, the current become 0 between at any angle from pi to pi plus alpha, and that is known as beta, called extinction angle. Okay, so the current may become 0 at any angle between pi to pi plus alpha. Okay, which is denoted as beta, called extinction angle. Extinction angle. Okay, so there is a discontinuity of current from beta to pi plus alpha. Hence, it is known as discontinuous conduction mode of operation. That means before, the current becomes 0 before the next pair of resistors starts conducting. Okay. So now let us discuss about the negative half cycle. So if we observe at this negative half cycle, that means from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta, the thyristors T2 and T3 comes into the conduction. Okay, from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta, the thyristors T2 and T3 comes into the conduction. So the current flow will be like this. The current starts at the neutral terminal. Armature current starts at the neutral terminal, enters into T2 and enters into the A terminal and leads through the AA terminal and flows into T3 and ends its journey at the phase terminal. You see here the current starts from the neutral terminal, enters into the thyristor T2 and enters into the A and leaves through AA and enters into T3 and ends its journey at the phase terminal. See, if you observe at the positive half cycle, here it is phase and neutral. Phase and neutral is of positive Vs and neutral, here it is the supply is reversed. Neutral and phase. Therefore, here it will be minus Vs. Okay, here it is minus Vs. And the armature voltage across the armature terminals is VA. So if you apply KVL to this loop, our VA will be minus Vs. Okay, our armature voltage will be minus Vs. Now let us draw this. Armature voltage is equal to minus Vs. So this is our minus Vs graph, right? This is our minus Vs graph, which is from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta. So from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta, the value of armature voltage is negative of the supply voltage. That means we have to trace this curve. Okay, negative of the supply voltage from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta. So this is our pi plus alpha point. Okay, this is our angle pi plus alpha, and it has to follow. I mean, this negative of the supply voltage has to be followed till pi plus beta here. Okay, till pi plus beta. So now let us draw this separately in our output curve. Pi plus alpha to pi plus beta. So what happens from pi plus beta to again 2 pi plus alpha is the current becomes 0. Okay, the current becomes 0 and we will have only the induced EMF. The same condition will again comes into the picture here. Whatever the condition was applicable for beta to pi plus alpha is applicable for pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha. Pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha. Okay. Whatever the condition was applicable for beta to pi plus alpha, the same condition is applicable for pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha. The current flow will be 0 across all the thyristors. Therefore, again our output voltage will be equal to E. So, this will be our output voltage here from pi plus beta to here it is our 2 pi plus alpha. The current will be of the voltage will be of E. Okay. So now let us draw here from pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha. Here it is 2 pi plus alpha. Okay. Let me show in the next, in the different color. See here it is 2 pi plus alpha and here it is pi plus beta. So from pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha, there is no current flow across any thyristors. Therefore, our armature voltage will be equal to E. So this is here it is pi plus here it is pi plus beta and here it is 2 pi plus alpha. Therefore, this is our voltage E and let us draw here. So this is the value of E. So this is what the operation in the negative half cycle. So now let us draw the current for the negative half cycle. See from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta, the current flows through the thyristors T2 and T3. Okay, from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta. So this is our pi plus beta point. And this is the angle 2 pi. Okay. This is our pi plus beta. Therefore, the current flows from pi plus alpha to pi plus beta with the thyristors T2 and T3. So at pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha, the current again becomes 0 because there is no current flow across any thyristors. Therefore, from pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha, the current is 0. Okay, see here. From here to here, the current is 0. So, if you observe at this current graph or current waveform from beta to pi plus alpha, okay, the current is 0. Again from pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha, here it is 2 pi plus alpha. Okay, so from beta to pi plus alpha and from pi plus beta to 2 pi plus alpha, the current is 0. This is known as discontinuous conduction mode of operation. Now let us do the mathematical analysis of this waveforms or this operation. So here the armature output voltage VA is equal to, we have made two pulses out of one cycle. See, here it is pulse number 1 and here it is pulse number 2. Two number of pulses for one full cycle. 2 by 2 pi. Integration of the lower limit is alpha. Here it starts at alpha and the upper limit is pi plus, sorry, the upper limit is beta because it stops its conduction at beta. Okay, the resistors T1 and T4 starts its conduction at alpha and stops its conduction at beta. Alpha to beta Vs. So from alpha to beta, see here, from alpha to beta our armature voltage is supply voltage Vs, right? From alpha to beta. So alpha to beta Vs d of omega t. And similarly we have made two pulses of the E also, induced EMF also. See here 1 and here 2. Okay, for the one full cycle. Therefore 2 by 2 pi integration of whose period starts at beta. See here, from beta to pi plus alpha, right? So beta to pi plus alpha and the value is E, right? D of omega t. Therefore VA is equal to, here 2 gets cancels with each other and 1 by pi alpha to beta. Vs is nothing but Vm sin omega t d of omega t, plus again here also 2 gets cancels with each other, 1 by pi integration of beta to pi plus alpha E d of omega t. Therefore VA is equal to, taking Vm as constant and outside, Vm by pi integrating sin omega t, right? Integration of sin x is nothing but minus cos x. So integration of sin x dx is nothing but cos x minus cos x. Therefore here we will get minus cos omega t and the lower limit is alpha and the upper limit is beta. So here again taking E as constant outside, E by pi, integration of dx is nothing but x. Therefore integration of d of omega t is nothing but omega t and the lower limit is beta and the upper limit is pi plus alpha. Therefore VA is equal to Vm by pi. Applying the upper limit we get minus cos beta, and while applying the lower limit we have to add a minus, and already there is a minus here, so minus into minus becomes plus cos. Instead of omega t we have to apply the lower limit called alpha, cos alpha, and here E by pi. Applying upper limit it is pi plus alpha, and while applying lower limit we have to add a minus, and applying lower limit is nothing but beta, so pi plus alpha minus beta. Therefore our VA is equal to Vm by pi cos alpha minus cos beta, plus E by pi into pi plus alpha minus beta. Okay, this is an important equation. So let this be equation number 1. And we know that for a DC motor VA is equal to E plus IA RA. Okay, let this be equation 2. And we know that E is equal to K into omega m for a DC motor, and IA is equal to T by K for a DC motor. Okay, so now substitute 1, 3 and 4 in equation 2. So what happens is Vm by pi cos alpha minus cos beta, plus E by pi plus alpha minus beta. Okay, and which is equal to E is K into omega m plus IA is T by K RA. Okay, and here so this is Vm by pi cos alpha plus e by beta into pi plus alpha minus beta, which is equal to, so this is our let this equation be equation number 5. Okay, now again in this equation 5 you have to substitute E is equal to k into omega m, right? Here this also has to be changed into the terms of speed. So substitute 6 in 5, what will we get is Vm by pi into cos alpha minus cos beta plus, instead of E you have to substitute k omega m by pi into pi plus alpha minus beta, which is equal to k into omega m plus t by k Ra. Here our objective is to find the relation between the speed and torque. That means we are going to find the equation or expression for the speed. Okay, so now let me take all the speed terms at one side. So Vm by pi cos alpha minus cos beta, okay, minus t by k Ra. Okay, I am bringing this minus t by k Ra to the left hand side, equal to k omega m, and I am bringing this term to the right hand side because I want to make all the speed terms at the one side. Minus k omega m by pi into pi plus alpha minus beta. Okay, so so now we can write Vm by pi cos alpha minus cos beta minus t by k Ra, which is equal to, from here we can take k omega as constant, as common term, so which becomes 1 minus 1 by pi into pi plus alpha minus beta. Okay, so I'm taking this k omega m term as common from this two terms. So Vm by pi cos alpha minus cos beta. So I'm bringing this k and so before that we will take the LCM of this. Okay, so minus t by k Ra is equal to k into omega m. So if we take LCM here we will get pi, and if we include this minus into this, so it will become minus pi minus alpha minus into minus plus beta by pi. Okay, therefore pi and pi will get cancelled with each other, and this equation becomes Vm by pi cos alpha minus cos beta minus t by k Ra, which is equal to k into omega m into beta minus alpha by pi. Now let us bring this k and beta minus alpha by to the left hand side. So Vm by pi cos alpha minus cos beta minus t by k Ra. If you bring this to the left hand side, this k will come here. Okay, and beta minus alpha by pi. So it becomes pi by beta minus alpha. Therefore pi and pi gets cancelled with each other. Similarly here also it will come pi by beta minus alpha, okay, which is equal to omega m, and this k also comes here. Therefore our omega m becomes Vm by k into cos alpha minus cos beta divided by, yeah, there is nothing here right to here, divided by beta minus alpha we have. Okay, here this beta minus alpha. Okay, and minus t by here k into k becomes k square Ra pi by beta minus alpha, which is equal to omega, already I wrote this omega m here. Therefore this is our the speed torque relation, or the expression for the speed of a single phase fully controlled rectifier fed separately excited DC motor drive under discontinuous conduction mode. This is an important equation, okay, for discontinuous conduction mode. DCM means discontinuous conduction mode. So now based on this equation, let us draw the speed torque characteristics. Now here our main intention is to control the speed, okay, to control the speed of DC motor, okay, by using single phase fully controlled rectifier. So how to control the speed? See here, if you observe at this equation, here speed omega m depends on the firing angle alpha. Okay, so by means of varying the firing angle alpha, we can vary or control the value of the speed. So let me write the equation 1 once again here in order to make understand how the speed of this DC motor is controlled. So the equation which we obtained is VA is equal to Vm by pi into cos alpha minus cos beta plus E by pi into pi plus alpha minus beta. So this was our equation number 1. I am rewriting the equation 1 here in order to make you understand how the speed of the DC motor is controlled by means of using a single phase rectifier. So if you observe this equation here, this firing angle alpha and here this VA, the average output voltage of the rectifier, both are interdependent with each other. So here this average output voltage of the rectifier is dependent on the firing angle alpha. So that means when we change or control this firing angle alpha, the average output voltage of the rectifier changes. Now what is happening is the point which we observed here, when firing angle alpha changes, the average output voltage of the rectifier changes, of course, which you might have been studied in this power electronics, okay, changes, right? And this change is also how means, see, when the firing angle increases, the average output voltage of the rectifier decreases. Okay, when the firing angle alpha increases, the average output voltage of the rectifier decreases. So let me redraw the circuit here. So here this is our T1 and this is our T2 and this is our T3 and this is our T4, and here the single phase AC supply is given and the power which is given to the motor. So if you observe the circuit diagram, this is our average output voltage of the rectifier, right? So this is the output voltage of the rectifier, which is nothing but DC. This AC is converted into DC. This is our average output voltage of the rectifier. So this average output voltage of the rectifier is fed across the armature terminals. That means this is our armature voltage. Okay, so our average output voltage of the rectifier is given to the is applied to the, or the power from the rectifier is applied to the armature of the motor. That means VA of the motor. So what is happening is, when the average output voltage of the rectifier changes, the average output voltage, the armature voltage of the motor also changes. So when the average, when the armature voltage of the motor changes, the speed also changes. That means we are using here armature voltage control method. Okay, so basically there are two types of speed control of a DC motor. One is field current control method and another one is armature voltage control method. So here we are using armature voltage control method. The principle is like this: when the firing angle changes, the average output voltage of the rectifier changes. So when the average output voltage of the rectifier changes, the armature voltage of the motor changes. When the armature voltage of the motor changes, the speed changes. So this is how the speed of a DC motor is changed by means of using single phase fully controlled rectifier. So now let us draw the speed torque characteristics based on this equation. Okay, based on this equation. So if you observe this equation here, firing angle, when the firing angle alpha changes, the speed changes, right? Which we discussed in detail now by using the circuit. So now let us draw the speed torque characteristics of this. So this is our speed axis omega m and this is our torque axis T. So for the firing angle alpha is equal to 0, this is equal to our speed torque characteristics. Okay. and if I increase the firing angle alpha is equal to somewhat like 60 degrees, the speed is getting decreased, but there is no much variation, but the speed is decreased to somehow. And when the firing angle alpha is equal to 90 degrees, so this is what our speed torque characteristics, and if we still increase our firing angle, the speed still falls. Okay, so the speed is getting decreased when you increase the firing angle, right? When the firing angle alpha is increased, the speed is getting decreased, which we can see from our graph or the characteristics diagram. Speed is decreased. Okay, because when the firing angle alpha is changed, the average output voltage of the rectifier is changed. When the average output voltage of the rectifier changes, the armature voltage of the motor changes. When the armature voltage of the motor changes, the speed also changes. Okay, so this is the speed torque characteristics of a single phase fully controlled rectifier fed DC motor for discontinuous conduction mode. Okay, for discontinuous conduction mode. So this is how the speed can be controlled. Now let us make the boundary analysis. Okay, now let us analyze the boundary between the continuous conduction mode and the discontinuous conduction mode. Okay, so the continuous conduction mode we have discussed in previous sessions, session 9 part 1 and session 9 part 2. So the speed torque characteristics are the boundary between these two characteristics. Let me draw here. So for a single phase fully controlled rectifier under continuous conduction mode, we have obtained these characteristics in our previous session. Alpha is equal to 0 and alpha is equal to 60 degrees and something like alpha is equal to 90 degrees, and when our alpha is equal to 120 degrees. Okay, you can still increase this 160. Okay, so like this is our continuous conduction mode which we made in our previous session. Okay, under session 9 part 1 and session 9 part 2. Okay, we made this analysis here. Now in this session we have arrived that the speed at now let me draw this in the different color for discontinuous conduction mode. Okay, so this is little bit thicker, so let me have some other color like this. So this is our discontinuous conduction mode, right, which we got from here. So for alpha is equal to 0 and alpha is equal to 60, alpha is equal to 60 and alpha is equal to 90 and alpha is equal to 120 and alpha is equal to 160 and so on. Okay, now if you observe at this is the boundary between continuous conduction mode and the discontinuous conduction mode. So this is our discontinuous conduction mode. Okay, so here we have a condition such that critical speed, okay, critical speed, critical speed. Okay, so if you observe at this graph, if the speed omega m is less than critical speed, okay, is less than critical speed, then it is continuous conduction mode. See here, this speed here, it is both motor speed and the critical speed is equal. So now here the speed is getting lesser. See here in vertical axis the speed is getting lesser. Okay, so when the speed of the motor gets less than the critical speed, then the mode is of continuous conduction mode. If the speed is greater than the critical speed, then that is discontinuous conduction mode at this area. Okay, discontinuous conduction mode. Now let us mark the no load speed. See here will be the no load speed. So the no load speed of this discontinuous conduction mode is something like Vm by K, whereas the no load speed for this continuous conduction mode here at this place is 2 Vm by pi k. So how this is achieved is, see, whenever armature current is equal to 0, therefore our torque is equal to 0. That means no load, right? So under no load, our torque will be 0. Torque and armature current are interdependent with each other. So when torque is 0, ultimately our armature current will also be 0. So when the load is 0, the torque is 0, therefore armature current is 0. Therefore we can obtain our no load speed as Vm by k for discontinuous conduction mode and 2 Vm by pi k at this point. Okay, here for this one. Okay, for this one we can obtain this as 2 Vm by pi k. Okay, 2 Vm by pi k. So in our next session, let us discuss about the single phase semi converter or half controlled converter fed DC motor drive. Thank you.